Zurvan, Medusa. In Greek mythology, a Gorgon is a fearsome monster with snakes for hair that can turn anyone who looks at it to stone. Medusa Stheno, Euryale were Gorgon's sisters. The Gorgon is the androgynous deity of time known as Zorvan in Persian and Chronos in Greek. The Leontocephalic god in Mithraic iconography is a reference to the Gorgon archetype. The most archaic Gorgon images have leonine animalistic faces, with snakes emerging from the hair and entwining the body, as in the case of the Mithraic Leontocephalic god. While the Gorgon is female and the Leontocephalic Zorvan is assumed to be male, the latter's genitals are covered by the serpents entwining its body so that its sex is in question. Zorvan is hermaphroditic. The lion-headed god of Mithraism is to Mithra as the Gorgon is to Perseus. Mithra takes the power of the Gorgon, and thus becomes lion-headed himself. Phanes Mihtras. In Orphic cosmogony, Phanes is often equated with Eros or Mithras and has been depicted as a deity emerging from a cosmic egg entwined with a serpent, the Orphic egg. He had a helmet and had broad, golden wings. The Orphic cosmogony is quite unlike the creation sagas offered by Homer and Hesiod. Scholars have suggested that Orphism is un-Greek, even Asiatic, in conception because of its inherent dualism. Phanes was hatched from the world egg, a primordial mix of elements split into its constituent parts by Chronos, time, and Ananke, inevitability. Phanes was the first king of the universe who handed the royal scepter over to his daughter Nyx, night, who in turn handed it down to her son Uranus, heaven. It was then seized by the titan Chronos, and afterwards by Zeus, the ultimate ruler of the cosmos. Some say Zeus devoured Phanes in order to absorb his power and redistribute it among a new generation of gods, the Olympians he would sire. Orphic Phanes. The Orphic Phanes, entwined by the serpent Chronos, breaks out of the cosmic egg, and on his chest he bears the lion head symbol of Mithra. Some classical inscriptions suggest an identification or syncretization of Mithra and Phanes. Likewise with Mithra and Aeon, a youth who turns the zodiac in Greek mythological images. The ultimate legacy of this idea is the heraldic standard of the Persians, the harp sword-wielding lion with the sun rising behind him. The lion and sun symbol, especially considering the harp sword in the lion's hand, represents Mithra having conquered Zorvan or fate. This heraldry combines the symbols for the 4th, 5th, and 6th grades of initiation in Mithraism, the grades of Leo, the Persian, and the solar charioteer. Fatalism Gigantomachy. Under influence from Greek fatalism, the battle between the forces of Ahura Mazda or Ormazd and Ahriman was recast as a gigantomachy whose main protagonists, the Lord of Light and the Lord of Darkness, are twins born of time and controlled by fate. The 12 constellations of Ormazd and the 7 planets of Ahriman are part of a heartless celestial machinery, Seper, whose turning wheels mercilessly deal out fortune and, more often, grave misfortune to the men at their mercy. Other descriptions of the cosmos reflect the creations of Ormazd. In one text, during his creation of the heaven, he creates the stars, the 12 signs of the zodiac, constellations, just called the 12 ones, corresponding to the 12 months of the year, the 27 or 28 lunar mansions, as well as 6,488,000 supporting small stars for the constellations. 12 constellations and 7 planets as fate managers. All goodness and its opposite come to people and other creatures via the 7 planets, and the 12 zodiacal constellations. The 12 signs of the zodiac are the 12 commanders on the side of Ormazd, and the 7 planets are said to be the 7 commanders on the side of Ahriman. And the 7 planets oppress all creation and deliver it over to death and all manner of evil, for the 12 signs of the zodiac and the 7 planets rule the fate of the world and direct it. Gigantomachy and Titanomachy wars. The Titanomachy occurred first between the Titans and the gods, while the gigantomachy followed afterwards between the giants and the gods. Both wars concluded with the Olympian gods victorious. In Mithraism, the struggle that takes place between Ormazd and Ahriman over the course of the 12 zodiacal epochs is characterized, in Greek terms, as a gigantomachy. Mithraic iconography includes depictions of the gigantomachia, which is essentially a story about the overthrow of Chronos, Zorvan. These include a depiction of Saturn handing over his thunderbolt and scepter to Jupiter, marking the passage out of the Golden Age. The mutability of the reign of the God-Father is in evidence here. Astrological and sexual symbolism pervade the Mithraic account of this cosmic war between the gods and titans. Handshake? Plutarch describes Mithra as the mediator who arbitrates the contract that defines the terms of engagement between Ormazd and Ahriman during the cosmic war. Mithra was the god of contracts, oaths, truth and trust. The handshake, as a sign of trust, that one is not carrying a weapon, in greeting a friend or closing a business deal, originated within the Mithraic order. There is no evidence for it as a common custom in Europe prior to the spread of Mithraism. Why Mithras judges ages, unconquerable sun, black sun. Magi believed that the sun acts as mediator between Ormazd and Ahriman and as the judge over them. Because of precession, sun changes age, so it means he is selecting a new ruler. This cannot be the actual sun, since the sun was produced through the incestuous intercourse between Ormazd and his mother, the hermaphroditic Zorvan. The sun god, Helios, kneels before Mithra in submission, since as Sol Invictus Mithra is superior to the Sol that can be conquered by night and darkness. Mithra is the black sun that shines amidst the darkness in an inextinguishable and enduring fashion. Fatalism, swastika, demiurge, arctos. The bull in the Tauroctony iconography of Mithraism symbolizes the Taurus, while Mithra or Perseus is Aries, bringing the former zodiacal age to an end and inaugurating a new age. He stands outside of the celestial sphere, which is both the creation and embodiment of the cruel demiurge, and so he is in a position to change fate by shifting the axis of the heavens. In a world where the movement of stars and planets were believed to determine one's fate, the Lord of the Precession would have the power to change fate. To put it in positive rather than negative terms, this is to grant the human being a free will that overpowers the cruel stellar machinations of the demiurge who created the cosmos. This was conceived of as holding a royal scepter over the heavens and sovereignty over the fates. Perhaps this is why the swastika, a symbol of good fortune, is the wheel of Mithra. It is the handle he uses to move the heavens. The celestial bears or arctos are the symbol and instrument of the cosmocrator at the pole. Cosmocrator is celestial ruler, a technical term for Satan used by the Gnostics and Marcion.